And we are live. So, welcome to our first Senate session of the 2021-2022 school year. I'm your Vice President, Kirill Ahmad, and let's get started. First up, roll call. Joel, do we have quorum?
We do. So far, by my count, we have 14 voting members with us, and potentially a few more might be arriving.
Perfect. Thank you for that. With that on our agenda tonight, we have a guest speaker, Dean Stetz, and three org proposals with women in space exploration, Illinois Tech RoundNet, and Engineering World Health. And then we have a couple exec reports, a surprise, and adjournment. We also have open floor. I kind of forgot to put that on there, IB, but yeah. So with that being started, is there a representative from Women in Space Exploration here?
It's me. Hello, everyone.
I'm here too.
Wait, sorry. Actually, it's Dean Stetz. Sorry. You're after that.
That's good.
If you want, I could totally just talk about an organization that I don't know and you can vote it in. Just kidding.
So sorry.
It was supposed to be funny. Can you hear me?
Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like,
No, all good. Yeah. Sorry, Yeah, I don't mean to steal anybody's thunder, but I am grateful to be here. So thanks, everybody. And yeah, so I'm just here. I love to see you guys. So welcome back. And I hope everybody's first week back. Some of you I know have been on campus for a while, and some of you, maybe this is your first time back on campus. Maybe some of you aren't even back on campus, and that's okay too. But I just wanted to say welcome back to the school year. I'm excited about a new year. If you haven't been back to campus, it really is. Has anyone, I mean, I can't really see everybody because no one has their videos on. And I noticed that, guys, and I'd like to see all your faces, and you could raise your hand if you're actually on campus. Can you raise your hand if you're on campus, even if you don't want to be on screen? Can you raise the hand? I don't know, on the function. All right, so there's a fair amount of you. Thanks. I mean, you don't have to keep your cameras on the whole time, but I like to see your faces. So I'm on campus too. Most of the time you'll see me, and excited to be there. And it is fun to watch everybody coming back. Like, it really is a relief. As much as I think sometimes we enjoyed being home, or not at school or just in our rooms and not having to walk around, I do think it's kind of a relief. So anyway, that was a really long-winded way to say welcome back. So I'm excited. I'm really just wanted to offer some words of encouragement about this semester, because we are excited to have students back on campus, back in the classroom. We're expecting people to be back on campus and back in the classroom. And we know that, there are many of you who are excited to be back. And we also know that there's still some questions. So either way, my team is here to help answer any of those questions. I know the Campus Life team is here to answer any of those questions, and we just want to keep you successful. So make sure, you let us know what's going on, but overall, I think this is going to be a really good year. Just some things to look forward to, and maybe if there's time, Kiru could tell us this. Maybe if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to field any of those. But before we get there, I just wanted to say things to look forward to. And I talked a little bit about these to last year to some groups, and just so everybody knows, I do meet regularly with the student life committee. So if you're on the student life committee and you're new and you haven't met with me yet, I'm excited. And if you are, you know exactly how fun those meetings are. So I can't wait, and I'm sure you can't too. But I'm excited to pick those things back up again. But I've talked about some of these things, but one of the things that we're working on and should be rolling out here in the next 30 days or so is a women's center programming and hopefully space. So we're just fine tuning all the details on that, but we're really looking forward to working with We STEM and SWE and FEM and Jackie's going to have to remind me if I've missed a couple, because there's a handful of student orgs who are excited and working with me on this. We have a lot of college deans and other faculty who are on the small advisory board, and some of the programming we're working on involves Kaplan and some really great speakers that will be taking place in Kaplan this year. So stay tuned. I don't have all the details, but I did want to, let you guys know that we're looking at that. Another cool thing that I'm hearing about and don't know all the details about, but I know a lot of you are working on it, and I want to say hooray and get you all excited about is the Hawk House. I don't know, it might even be live. Rachel might have more information about that, but I'm excited about that. I know that's been something that you guys have been working on for a while. And so congratulations, it's almost there, or it is there. I was just in a presentation yesterday about the, so if I don't, maybe you can raise your hand again, because I'd like to see if any of you participated in this or are aware of it. But we did send out a climate survey on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it was directed for students. And that was, I'm not exactly sure when we sent that. I feel like it was over the summer, but it may have been at the end of the spring semester. But I just saw the results yesterday. So can you guys, like, any waving of hands, or just raise your hand in the reaction section, or clap, or do something if you are familiar with that or aware of it or anything? Oh man. Well, that's okay. I see one. Yay. All right. Well, cool. Well, so clearly there's a lot. Oh, I see 3, 4. I see some things. Okay. So I see a handful. Awesome. So that's better than nobody. I got to switch screens. But anyway, that's great. And we're going to have more information for you as time goes on. We literally just got the results yesterday, but I did want to say that we got the results yesterday as an administrative, leadership team that works with students, and we're working on some action points. Hawk House is one of the initiatives. Women's Center is one of the initiatives. The top 3 things I think that came out of the survey in terms of maybe action items, recommendations that the students who took it offered were, streamline or better communication, training, diversity, equity, and inclusion training for faculty, staff, and students required. And just the ability for the administration and faculty and staff to engage more with students in these issues. So there will be more. I'm sure your executive board is going to be involved in a lot of these discussions, but I wanted to throw it out there. So A, you knew it was happening. B, if you feel like it's something that you want to get more involved in or know more about, please let me know, because there's definitely room for that. In addition to the Women's Center initiative, I'm working with a bunch of students on a diversity advisory board just really geared towards students and understanding your experience as it revolves around diversity, equity, and inclusion. So if you, many of you on here, I feel like a couple of you have been in that group. And if you haven't and you're interested, please either reach out to me or Jackie, and we'll be happy to get you going on that. Another thing to look forward to and start thinking about how talented you all are. And I know you're all talented, but the Talon with a T, Talons show. And I'm sure Rachel has way more details. I'm also stealing things from the Campus Life newsletter. So it'll save Rachel some voice later, maybe, or at least there gets the details out. And then the very last, update, and I'm not sure how far it's gotten to. There's a few things with Chartwells that I just want to make sure that student government is aware of. And you probably, very few of these things are going to surprise you, because if you go to any restaurants, you'll see the same signs anywhere that just say things like, due to current times, some items may not be available. Thankfully, at this point in time, Chartwells has been able to plan for a shortage of maybe some food supplies, and nothing super major. But if you, like I said, you go to other restaurants and you're going to see this. And what's happening, and I'm sure many of you are aware, but I just want to make sure you're hearing it from, I hope you think of me as a reliable source. But one of the things that is happening is that a lot of places don't have as many workers as we once did. There's a million positions open and not as many people to fill them. So where Chartwells isn't really falling behind in terms of staffing, what our struggle has been is the production and the distribution groups that we work with. So restaurant groups, anyone who delivers Pepsi, Coke, they have a shortage of delivery drivers. So we're not getting the shipments like we once did. So they are being proactive. They are sending people to the actual, places to pick up the stuff and to the warehouses and bring it to IIT. But I throw that out there mainly because just like every other, many industries, but specifically restaurants, Chartwell's is being touched. I will say that I'm very impressed by their proactiveness and in particularly on our campus. So you may hear things at other campuses, but I would say they're run very differently. So you might hear like DePaul has something going on. It may or may not affect IIT. The IIT team is separate from that team, even though there are all Chartwells. So I just want to give you guys a heads up and know that we are working really hard to make sure there isn't a disruption. But if there is, we hope it to be very minor, but we also wanted to let you know that this is a out of our control sort of situation, given the times and coming out of the pandemic. But we're working on solutions as quickly as problems are arising. So anyway, all of those things are quick updates. I think it's always good to just kind of get the pulse of what's happening, at least from my perspective. I'm looking forward to hearing about the new organizations popping up and anything else that's going on. And I'm also happy to take any questions if there's a couple, but I don't want to get too much, I don't want to take it too much of your time because I know you have a long night, but I don't know, Kiru or Ben, if you want to offer those questions or if you just want to say, send me an email, and I'm fine with either way.
Yeah, we actually plan to have a quick 5-minute questioning period for you. So if anyone has any questions for Dean Stutz, feel free to raise your hand and I will call on you in order. Or you can type them in the chat and I can say them out loud.
Think it's a good thing.
Yeah, if nobody has any
That's okay. Yeah.
if anything, if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to Dean Stutz or anybody on the e-board, and we'll be happy to relay those. We also meet with Dean Stutz. So, with that being said, thank you so much for coming to speak at our first Senate meeting.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great rest of your night.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, now the women. Women in space exploration. Do you guys have like a presentation or anything?
We do. We have prepared a poster and I'll share my screen.
Okay, I think I have to give you privileges for that. So here you go.
Thank you.
You should be able to share your screen now. But yeah, so you guys will present and then we'll go into a 5-minute question period.
Sounds good. Hi everyone, we are the Society of Women in Space Exploration. Our purpose and goal. Our purpose is to educate people on space exploration as a whole. We want to look more into how people, especially women, have contributed to space exploration. And this would include women who are whether already interested in pursuing a career in space, as well as educating the young generation on pursuing a career in space and its benefits. We would like to inspire more women to join us because we'll also provide a strong support network by giving our members the opportunity to connect with not only a diverse community, but also with other students with similar interests and from chapters all over the United States and also internationally, because SWICE, since it was founded in 2019, it has a number of chapters, not only in the United States, but also internationally. How will benefit students? Students will learn more about space exploration as a whole, as well as opportunities to be involved in space exploration. And this will include not only like careers in the industry, but also pursuing a career in research. They will understand the history of space exploration as well, especially how women have contributed to it, and also some of the challenges they may have faced, such as not receiving credits for their work. Why are we different? The reason why we're different is because not only we are really inclusive, but we tend to create a really strong support network of women who share the same interests and connect them better to opportunities, not only around IIT, but also like with other people from different chapters, so they can also connect to opportunities across the states. How do we plan to recruit our members? Well, first of all, we have set up a blog. So let me click the link to the blog. If someone can click the link to the blog, or I could reshare my screen, would that be okay? Can you hear me?
You can click it yourself, I think, because your screen shared.
Okay, let me try it.
Or you could drop the link in the comment chat box.
Sure. Is it okay if I unshare my screen and share it again? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I shared the link in the chat, and everyone can click on the link and open the blog we have set up. And I'll walk you through it if that works. So if everyone could access the blog, so in our homepage, we have our purpose, who we are, our story, how everything started, and what is our purpose. And we also have included what we do. For example, we tend to connect people from different space backgrounds, organize sessions for the young generation in the Chicago area. We'll have guest speakers from STEM industries and also give our members the opportunity to participate in technical projects. We also have our contact info, which will be our official email, which is swiceit@gmail.com. In our main blog, we'll post our events, such as, for example, the Space Vision Conference we plan to attend this year. And everyone who is interested, not only being a member, but also other students who would like to join us can learn more before joining us about our activities. We have also included a form to contact us, which is included in the contact section. And everyone who would like to get in touch with us, this will be an easy way for them. We also plan to set up a Facebook and Instagram pages in order to connect with students from different chapters across the states and across the world, because SWICE also has chapters in other states such as India. And we also tend to use our Facebook and Instagram pages in order to recruit more members.
So for the programming and events, so we'll have women who work in space research speaking about their experience within like space exploration and things like that. We'll also be reaching out to professors, whether they're from IIT or like different universities, and we'll have them discuss their findings and discoveries and the research they've done. We'll also be reaching out to historians who can also talk about the history of women, along with LGBTQ+, Black, Indigenous, people of color, and other individuals in minority groups in space exploration. as like an example, you can see the Hidden Figures picture. We will also be looking into how space exploration basically became a field dominated by men in the first place. We'll also be bringing an awareness to the discrimination that people face in space exploration. And then along with that, we'll be having events such as like movie nights, documentaries, trivia nights, where
It looks like we're muted.
can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Cool. Sorry, where was I? Yeah, so we'll be reaching out to like companies who are involved in space exploration and research and development. And then we also do plan out on we plan out reaching out to students who are, in the Bronzeville area, whether it's through Zoom meetings or I guess now in person because the COVID situation is slightly better now. And we'll probably reach out to other students in high school, especially ones that might be considering space exploration later on in their further studies. And then we'll also be having weekly study groups and study nights.
About our conferences, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
About the conferences, so we plan on working in a number of technical projects this semester, but that also depends by the number of students who are joining us. So we'll plan accordingly. One of the conferences we plan of attending this semester would be Space Vision 2021, which takes place in Houston Space Center in the Visitor Center every year in November. And the conference takes place for 3 days, but we plan on attending only on November the 6th, which will be like Saturday. How this conference will benefit students? The conference will allow for professional growth for students interested in pursuing career in space industry. They'll have the opportunity to connect with people who work in space industry and learn more about how is it like working there. They can also find mentors there who can help them in kind of navigating them into connecting more with opportunities in the space industry. And they'll also have the opportunity to accelerate their career by attending a career fair and learning more about different companies in the space and also how they can be considered for these opportunities. So I think this was our proposal. So the number of events we have planned for this semester is kind of limited because we'll be a new organization. So I think we'll be, except for the events which we will not need funding, such as our projects or night gatherings, such as movie nights. I think that the only conference we will need funding for will be the Space Vision. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, if you guys are done presenting, I will open it up to our 5-minute question period. If anybody, wait.
Sorry, actually, we do need to discuss the budget plan.
I mean, we'll.
Okay. Then I'll let you guys continue with that.
Yes, I believe Cassidy wanted to talk about it.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Oh, sorry. I had. Okay. So the event we want to go to is called Space Vision 2021. It's in 1601 NASA Parkway, Houston, Texas, 77058. The amount that we're requesting for the event will be $3,104.42, and the max out-of-pocket cost per person will be $69.72. So the date that we will be attending this event is November 4th through November 6th, but we'll only be attending November 6th. So this conference / exhibition will allow for professional growth for students interested in pursuing a career in the space industry. And it'll provide students the unique opportunity to learn directly from industry professionals, leaders, and influencers about the state and future of the industry. So we would like to send 8 students to the conference, and the breakdown for the expenses are for event registration for one person, it's $68.75, but the total cost for 8 students would be $550. For accommodation for one student, it's $33.75, and the total cost for 8 students is $270. For transportation, so the flight, it'll be $325 per student, and for 8 students, it's $2,600. And for transportation for like a premium SUV is $30.27, and the total cost for 8 students is $242.19. So overall, the cost for one student will be $457.77, and the total cost for 8 students is $3,662.19. So for flight and transportation, we'll be using American Airlines to travel from Chicago O'Hare International Airport to George Bush Intercontinental Airport. For transportation from IIT campus to O'Hare, we'll be using the CTA. And for transportation from George Bush Intercontinental Airline to like the Hilton Hotel in Houston, and from the hotel to the Space Center in Houston, we'll be using a premium USB. So for hotel accommodations, the hotel was based off of ease and access to and from the convention. And the location is Hilton NASA Houston Clear Lake Hotel and 3000 NASA Parkway, Houston, Texas 77058. And we request for 2 rooms for 4 students each, 1 female and 1 male room. And if there are no male members that attend, both rooms would be for females. It would be a female room. And that is all.
Okay, thank you. We will now move into our 5-minute question period. If you have a question, please raise your hand and I will call on you. Lucy.
Okay, sorry. My first question is just more of a logistical question. I don't know if you consider this, but usually when there's like an age minimum that you have to be to rent a car, which is usually like 21 or like 25 or something like that. And then also if it's 8 students, does that mean like you're going without an advisor and like one of you would be driving the car? And my other question is, I noticed that on your list of interested students, there's 8 people. So are those students like the 8 students that are going to the conference? And then also, does that mean that like the only interested students are like interested in going to the conference?
So first of all, I'll start by your first question, which was about the age of renting a car. So already some of our board members are over 21, so that person will be able to rent a car for us. And because we're flying up to Houston, that won't be a problem for the flight part. Your second question was related, if I'm not wrong, to the number of interested members. So in order for an organization to come like to a hearing, we need at least 7 members. So we are already 8 of us, and we need 10 members in order to register. And we're not considering, we don't know yet who is participating in the conference or not, because there will also be like a cost to attend the conference, which is like around $70. And I don't think that only 8 members will go there. Everyone who is interested can attend, but we'll be able to finance only 8 the first members who will be interested. And there is not an interest yet. I mean, we don't know who will be able to go or not. Probably I might even not go. It depends like on my schedule and everything. Do you have another question?
Yeah, Derek, you're next, and then we have 2 minutes left.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll be quick. So far, I love your proposal. I think you guys have a lot of really great things that you guys are trying to do. Just want to kind of hear it from you all. How are you different from the other space-based student organizations on campus? I know there are the Scarlet Space Hawks, and there's also the Students for the Exploration and Development of Space, SEDS. Just want to check with you guys. How are you all different? What makes you all different from these other organizations?
So I'll start by telling you a bit about history of SWISE. So the way SWISE was started was when our president attended one of the conferences, which was happening at NASA Houston Center. And then she was alone at that conference. And then she reached out to a number of female members who she didn't know before, who were also attending the conference, and if they wanted to go together. So why I'm presenting you with our background, it's because we aspire to be like really inclusive and to create like a supportive community, which means that having national chapters as well as international chapters will give this opportunity, because we'll be able to connect our members not only with professionals in the industry, because I think a lot of organizations can do that, but also with other members, especially women, because that's our focus, like to support women in the space industry, women who share the same interest, and they can also learn from each other as well as support each other. And that doesn't need to be like only from the IIT chapters, but internationally. Does it answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was having
welcome.
trouble unmuting.
Okay, thank you for your question, Derek. Last will be Nabiha, just for the sake of time.
Yeah, I don't know how to lower my, okay. So my question is, how can you guarantee that 8 students will go to the conference?
So as I said before, if we're approved and our budget proposal is approved, we'll be able to finance 8 students. That doesn't mean that 8 students are going. It might be less or it might be more. If more than 8 students are interested, they'll have to pay out of the pocket, but we'll be able to finance only the 8 first students who are interested in attending the conference. And we have not discussed yet or given any of our members to complete a form or express their interest in going to the conference. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the org.
So moved.
Perfect. Thank you. We will now move you guys into a waiting room, and we will have our discussion period and then voting, and then you'll be let back in, and then hopefully we'll have results for you at the end of the night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
While I'm doing this, if you have anything to say during our 5-minute discussion period, feel free to raise your hand and we'll get started. Derek.
Yeah, I think they are a great organization with a clear mission and purpose. As to my question about them being different from other organizations, it wasn't specifically answered, but that being said, having done research on the other organizations, they're very much project-based. SEDS, they build rockets, and cyber for Scarlet Space Hawks, they build robots. So very different from other organizations. I think they're going to bring something good to campus.
Perfect, thank you. Any other comments on space exploration? Okay, seeing that there is none, I would entertain a motion to move to voting or move the previous question.
So moved. Second.
And seconded. Joel released the voting form. Now keep in mind, under Curious Rules of the Senate, you guys will have the next 5 minutes to vote. Just that way we can get the results by the end of the night. So the form will be released in the Senate voting channel. Vote right away. While we're doing that, let me start presenting my screen again, and we can get started on our next work, which is Illinois Tech RoundNet. Which are you guys here?
Oh, hello?
Hi, do you have a presentation or anything?
Yes, I believe Neil Dote, he's the tentative vice president of the org. He will be sharing his screen with that.
I'm sorry, who will be?
Neil Dote, he should be in here.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Sorry, my mic wasn't working.
Perfect. We'll have you guys get started in about 2 more minutes. So I believe I just made you a co-host. You should be able to share your screen.
Sweet.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Okay. Well, I'm Anthony Manuelos. I'm the tentative president of the club, and I'm a 4th year cybersecurity and computer engineering major, and I am doing co-terminal degree. So I'll graduate in about 2 years from now, or a year and a half.
Hi, I'm Neil. I'm a 4th year computer engineering student, and I'm also doing code term. Okay, so what is RoundNet?
So I'm sure some of you at least have heard of this sport. It's so it's actually called RoundNet. This is like a fun little fact about it. It's called RoundNet, but a lot of people call it spikeball because that's like the dominant brand of the sport. But it's actually just called RoundNet. So I mean, I'll probably use it spikeball because that's just like it's already registered in my brain. But just to give you guys like a short little scoop for those of you who don't know. So it's a 2v2 game, and it's just this little trampoline in the middle, and it's very, very similar to volleyball in that each team gets 3 hits, so 2 passes tentatively, and then 1 spike, and then they have to switch it over to the other team's possession, and then basically whoever doesn't get to hit the ball last on the net, they lose a point. And right now we went over to the club fair a couple weeks ago, and with that we got a whopping 27 members in total, I believe, from that. So that's how many people we had sign up for that right now. And I'd say probably the best way that we were able to advertise this is just bring the net out and then just let people know. I had my iPad there, so they're able to scan a QR code or even just fill out like a little Google Forms that I made, and from there I was able to get their contact information and just let them know about the club. So essentially with the club, what we're going to be doing is we'll meet up either once a week or twice a week, depending on what the members think. I'll probably send out like a survey, and we're just going to be playing either on one of the fields that are available. So I know there's that very, very big field next to Cunningham and Kasich and Gonzalez, and that's our tentative spot to play right now. We haven't gotten it approved yet, but basically we'll just be meeting there, and then we'll be having lots of fun.
So we also have different types of events or like games or modes that we could do with Spikeball. One of them is like King of the Hill, where it's kind of like similar to with badminton, where whoever's like the winning team will stay up and then they will switch out. We'll have a really big tournament. A lot of the people we've been talking to who wants to join the club are the most excited for that. Oh, and then one other thing is we are going to order bigger nets. So instead of being 2v2, we'll be able to have 3v3.
Yeah, so they'll be fun and different. And one thing that I forgot to mention is why this is good for the student body. So I think right now well, I know for a fact that there's no spikeball club here at IIT. And I have seen a large following for it here. I've just seen it like around the frats, even just like people setting up. A lot of the freshmen I've met, they've been playing the game, and it's like an upcoming sport. So I think it'd be really good if we jump on it early and get a club going here. I know that there is a college league for it, but as of right now, we have no plan to go through with that unless we get like members asking for it. Right now, we're gonna kind of stay local and just play here and have a good time and relax.
Okay, so our advisor is Mr. Ali Zain. He works at ORL and he's the operations coordinator.
Yeah, so we'll probably see him frequently. They're playing with us.
And then here's our tentative budget for all the things we need for this club. So starting with the most important is the equipment. We're gonna have rookie sets and then pro sets. Tony, what's the difference with the pro sets again?
So the pro sets it's easier to set up on those. The plastic's sturdier, so they won't break compared to like they have just a standard set, which has a lot more flimsy plastic. And then I believe the pro set also comes with the pro balls, and then it's also it has a better warranty on it. So if something breaks, Spike Ball's always willing to just like replace it for free shipping and everything. We just have to send a picture of what broke and how it happened, basically. And then for the rookie set, it comes with a larger ball, so that's easier for newcomers, and that's that larger net. So not only will this be helpful for new players, but we can also get that 3v3 tournament for the event that we mentioned.
We also have enough nets for the people who wanted to come. So for the 27 people who said they would come. We also got a spike bright. So basically, if we have any nighttime events, this will allow us to play in the dark because it's glow in the dark. And then next up is for our events, we're going to have food. So just like some quick math with what we have set up so far, 27 members with the 4 events we've set up so far, and just like maybe $15 per meal for the member. It should be around 1,620. And then we're going to factor in tax for everything. We think it might be around 300. So our total cost for everything should be around 3,000. Yeah, and then this is end.
So, any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. We will now enter our 5-minute question period. If you have any questions for Illinois Tech Round Net, raise your hand now and I will call on you. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Chloe.
Okay, a motion's been moved to approve the club or the org.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there a second on the motion to approve Illinois Tech Round Net? Just need a second. Thank you, Chloe. Okay, I will now move you guys into the waiting room. We'll have our 5-minute discussion period, and then we will vote on you guys. Feel free to leave if your org's already presented. You don't really have to stay unless you want to know the results at the end of the meeting. But yeah. Thank you again for presenting.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
So that being said, we will move into our 5-minute discussion period. Derek.
Yeah. So in general, I like the student organization. I don't think there's any major red flags that come from it. Do have a couple small concerns. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak to them though. First concern relating to just the whole entire club itself. Thinking about like what they're trying to do, it's a spike ball club, which means they're going to buy a couple things of equipment and maybe some food and water for some random events here and there. But outside of that, the event thing I think is going to be they're going to have a hard time maintaining events for a regular period, especially throughout the entire year. Spike ball might be fun during the first couple months of the semester and the last couple months of next semester, but throughout the majority of the academic year, it's going to be cold unless they're playing in the gym, which I don't foresee too much. I think the club's going to have a hard time maintaining longevity for that particular reason. They have to keep members interested during the warm months and during the cold months, and if they can't do that, then they're going to be struggling.
Thank you for that, Derek. Any other comments? We still have like 3 minutes of our question period, or sorry, discussion period. So feel free to either move previous question, to move to voting, or voice your concerns. Lucy.
I know that it's really simple and that like it's basically just a club where you get together and play spike ball. But I think something that's nice about it is like if you walk around campus, you don't really always see people outside like doing things, which I feel like is something common that you would see at other colleges. So I feel like having this club, it can kind of start to create that just by having like a bunch of people outside. And since it's like a club, then I feel like more people would feel comfortable like going and playing, especially like if they're new or like they're not friends or they don't know people who are in the club. Whereas like if it was just like kind of people doing it by themselves, then it's like, oh, like I don't know these people, so I'm not gonna like go up and like try and like play with them as well.
Thank you for that, Lucy. Anybody else have anything to say? We still have 1 minute. If not, I would entertain a motion to move the previous question. Okay, move to voting.
A second.
Thank you. Okay, Joel, release the forms. So the form will close at 10, 11. In the meantime, Serena, are you guys ready to present?
Yes, ma'am.
Up next,
I will be sharing my screen.
You will be perfect. We have Engineering World Health.
Are we ready to begin?
Let's give it like 2 more minutes and then you guys can be there. But you should be able to share your screen now.
All right, I'm sharing from my iPad, so it has to download something real quick.
You're fine. We will have time anyways.
Can we see it?
Yep, perfect. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, you guys can start. Just a reminder for senators, you have 3 more minutes left of voting.
All right. Oh, wait, Shelby.
All right, so we're going to be presenting the proposal to start a chapter for engineering world health here at IT.
Introduce
So,
ourselves.
yes. Next slide. Okay. So what is EWH? This is a global organization aiming to provide engineering students with hands-on learning opportunities to understand the technologies of medical equipment, apply their knowledge, and also serve low-income communities with their skills.
So kind of an overview of what our chapter would include. We broke it down into like 3 different sections, I guess. So activities that we would hope to have would include fundraising for our Campus to Country program, which we will discuss in further detail later. But for that, we would do like on-campus fundraising, like you see many other orgs do, selling things, obviously taking into consideration the COVID restrictions when it comes to food related ones. Also calling alumni and local businesses for sponsorships. Other activities may include kit building. EWH as a national organization sells kits for EKG monitors, pressure calibration systems, among other like technical kits that you have with like little circuit boards and soldering irons. So we're looking at purchasing those and hosting a night where we build them together, work through or talk through the technology, you know, how it's applied in medical devices. And then what's really cool about kit builds is that we can actually then donate them back to low resource communities so that they can be used as a learning opportunity for the engineers or the technicians in those parts of the world. Additionally, we want to do some K through 12 STEM outreach, possibly partnering with Tau Beta Pi, because I know they do a fair amount of that. And also there's an organization, I don't know the name of it in front of me right now, but they specifically are in Chicago and they work with middle school girls to encourage them to pursue STEM careers. So we could do some outreach with them and also some mentoring along with that. And then EWH, again, as a national organization, hosts design competitions every year. So we're hoping to have at least 1, but hopefully 2 teams to design products that address healthcare concerns and issues that impact low resource areas. So in terms of officers, we've decided on an executive board, as you can see, with presidents or our president Jalek, accounts and records myself, fundraising chair is Siobhan, public relations chair is Hung, and events chair Shelby. Our faculty advisor will be Ken Tischauer within the BME department. And associated costs with the chapter itself is just the chapter dues of $400, which we've already discussed with the BME department, will be fully funded by them. And then additional fees is the kit builds that I talked about earlier and the design competitions. There's the registration fee. And we'll go into further detail for our budget later.
So as we mentioned before, EWH is a national organization, and a big part of that organization is their Campus to Country program. So the way the Campus to Country program works is first the students take a semester-long course here at Illinois Tech, which teaches students technical training and the skills that are needed to repair medical devices. And the syllabus and textbook for the course are provided by EWH. And there will also be some language learning happening along with the courses. And with the semester-long course, students are placed in a country during the summer for 3 weeks, where they assist local technicians with critical medical device repairs, the translation of manuals, corrective maintenance, and also other services. Along with that, they're going to be completely integrated into the culture, will learn their local language and follow their regular work hours while staying with the local family. And there'll also be experienced staff on the ground, such as BMETs, to supervise and assist the volunteer groups and groups with repairs and translations. And then finally, the last week is spent for a final conference where the groups meet to present on their experiences. The responsibility of the campus to country is more on the BME department side of this whole program, but we just wanted to add it in here just so everyone is aware about like the side of the organization as well.
So this is the exact projected expenses that we put in our project proposal, but I'll kind of overview it a little bit right now. So as you can see, we broke it down based off of the finance board suggested categories, I guess. And most of our budget goes towards conferences and competitions because we included the campus to country program within our budget. But generally for events and programming, we have a little over $1,100 budgeted out for that, including all of the types of events that we went over before. For projects and capital items, the kit builds that we discussed and the design competition, we assumed $200, but it could be flexible. And then, yeah, and I included the national chapter fee, even though we already have that funded. So yeah, you can see most of the bulk comes from this, but we're planning on getting that funded in other ways. So because it's a course, because the first part of it is a course that would be offered on campus, the organization or like our chapter will not be responsible for covering that. Tuition and lab fees will. And those that want to go on the trip will have to fill out an application, and most chapters do this or charge a fee for this. So we'll also be fundraising through the application fees. We're hoping to get a little bit of funding from SAF to cover that as well, but obviously it's a very large program cost because we are 3 weeks in a foreign country where we're getting housing and food taken care of. Yeah. So we're also looking to get donations from the BME department, but also the college, the Armor College of Engineering, because we're opening this course up to not just BMEs, but also to anyone who has the prerequisites, which is just Calc 1 and 2 and Physics 1 and 2. So there's a lot of people who go to IIT who could qualify for this as an elective. We're also going to reach out to alumni and local businesses. And we're also in communications with the I think it's the Student Advancement Office or Student Engagement Office to work on making this a registered Elevate experience so that people can use their Elevate scholarships towards this opportunity. And again, like I mentioned before, some fundraising as well on campus. Yeah, that pretty much concludes our presentation, but obviously I know there's a question period, so we're open to any questions you have.
We will start our 5-minute question period, starting with Lucy.
Okay, my question, I guess my concern about this like organization, specifically the campus to country part of the program, is how to like make sure, I guess, that when you go to the countries and you're like helping the people there, how you don't make it a kind of similar to like a mission trip, in that there's like a savior complex behind it. And then also you said that you're going for 3 weeks, so then the rest of the time out of the year those people aren't going to like have the students help, and so if they kind of get used to that and then you take that away, there's often issues with that in programs that work similarly. And then my second part of the question is, I guess, in an effort to prevent those problems, longevity would be one way to kind of counteract that. So do you have any plans for how you're going to keep this club going as all of you guys graduate?
Yeah, I mean, so longevity for the organization, I think, will come from the fact that this will be a recurring course that will be offered every spring. And it's, you know, by a professor that already exists within the department. We're actually currently between 3 professors at the moment, just based off of their time availability. They're figuring that out right now. And for what you said about Savior Complex, I guess my comment to that is this is a similar organization, although also very different from MedLife. And EWH in general exists as an organization to train people in those environments. I think these trips mostly serve as an opportunity for us to see that this is a possibility for our career in the future to work in a similar capacity with them full time. Because we are literally just shadowing them for 40 hours a week. We're working their work week. We're staying with the local family. We're not in a fancy hotel. We're eating the local cuisine. All of those types of stuff where we're really just like adopting their lifestyle for straight 3 weeks. Yeah, I don't know. That's my response to that. Hopefully that answered a little bit.
Thank you for your question, Lucy, and thank you for responding, Serena. Derek.
Hey, so yeah, I really like the idea of your organization. Did have one question, I guess, kind of the elephant in the room, the big budget proposal. My concern is being able to secure funding outside of the student activity fund. I don't anticipate the student activity fund spending $40,000 on 10 students to go outside of the country, which I understand you all are attempting to get outside funding and donations, and you're attempting to fundraise as well as that. In the event that you're not able to secure this funding, will your organization be able to still succeed without the necessary funds for the big competition, for the big program?
Oh,
Go ahead.
no, you can answer it.
I was just going to say that there, since EWH is a national chapter, there are many universities that have the chapter in place but are not partnered with EWH, so they don't go to the Campus to Country program. So if for any reason we don't get the funding, we can still continue the K-12 outreach. We can still have the kit builds and the competitions, and we can help the students that maybe want to pay out of pocket to go to EWH or go to the Campus to Country program, because they do have separate applications that are not like university based.
Perfect, thank you. Are there any more questions? Okay, seeing that there are none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the org.
So moved.
A second. I just need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, I will move you guys. Thank you for presenting. I will be moving you guys into the waiting room, and we will have our 5-minute discussion period. During that, you can raise your hands right now if you have comments, and after their own. I will start with Lucy.
Okay. Also, are the people still? Okay.
I don't think there's any left.
Okay. I just saw someone, so I was curious. Yeah, but my question, I think my biggest concern is like, I feel like I don't know enough about the organization to like know whether or not it's kind of resemblant of mission trips and things like that. So I was just curious what other people think about that.
I'll give people a couple seconds to respond to that. If you do, let's try a different reaction besides raising your hand. Or comment, either one. Okay, since I'm not seeing any, I'm gonna guess that means you all are okay with that, is what I assume. Until somebody says otherwise, but we will move on to Sandy.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm kind of conflicted mainly on the price just because we're still in pandemic and like knowing that it costs a lot. I feel like alumni and like outside, I guess funders would have more of a difficult time just because I think even though a pandemic as in it's like more than an issue in Illinois, I feel like one of the things that I kind of don't support is that a lot of times it's for the experience but necessarily help. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of like Chicagoans and a lot of like hospitals that would benefit from their help directly now, and a lot of people of color in the Chicago area. So for me, I wish it was more of a pipeline, like, hey, we need this certain number of money to start in Chicago and then see what they do with the money, see if they can even get investors or any type of outside funding or scholarships, and then potentially like increase. But the fact that their mission was primarily outside just doesn't make sense when there's so much need in the area to me. And so giving money to an org that's very similar to like medical societies and other engineering biomedical that we have on campus, I feel like for me it's kind of questionable because I did somewhat like agree with the savior complex, because it's kind of like it's going to enrich them and potentially their resume and their life more than it may be somebody else's, because that other person may not have that pipeline after. So I think for me, it's definitely more of a decision of like, does it make sense where we are right now?
Thank you for that comment. One thing I think we should all keep in mind though is that they are planning on doing K-12 outreach, even if they do not get the funding. So just want to make sure that was mentioned again. Any other, I know Derek, you had your hand up. Did you have anything to say? No. Anybody else have anything to say? Okay, seeing that there is none, I'd entertain a motion to move to voting.
So moved, I guess. I don't know if somebody's.
Okay, Joel, open up the form. I'll invite them back in. In the meantime, our next thing is the special committee senators. Ben, if you'd like to talk about this a little more, that'd be great.
Sure. So if you all remember the resolution we considered about a month ago to work on the Constitution and bylaws, there was a resolved in there about having up to 4 senators on the committee. Whoever's sharing screen, we can see the votes as they're coming in, so you may want to stop sharing your screen. Derek, Ben, and Magana have been kind enough to volunteer to serve on the committee. And so, according to the resolution, we now need to vote to confirm them to the committee. So this would be about a 3-month commitment to help us rewrite all the governing docs and clarify language and the bylaws and the Constitution. So it's real fun if you like writing documentation. So we'd be very happy to have them. There's less than 4, so the resolution has no other rules. Then Senate has to vote and say these people are fine for your committee. Oh, and we're on exec reports. So, yeah, that's all there is. Are there any questions? I would assume Anthony's question is to the last organization and not to the special committee senators.
Okay, I'll open this up to a 5-minute questioning period. I have no idea what's going on with this right now. So give me okay, here's what we'll do. We'll do that. Perfect. But yeah, I'll open up to 5-minute questioning on the senators. If there are none, somebody could just literally move the previous question and we can move to voting right away. I mean, first I do have to entertain a motion to like approve it, but like we can move previous question. To approve them as a slate, by the way, not individually.
Point of information. Is there time for a 4th person to be added?
We could do a friendly amendment for a 4th if somebody has a 4th person.
This man.
So there is a friendly amendment to include Naeem and yes.
Okay, so a friendly amendment's been accepted to add Naeem to the list. Any discussion on that? Any questions? Okay, seeing as there is none, I'd entertain a motion to approve them as a slate. Somebody second that. Any senator want to second that? Perfect, thank you. Okay, we can move to discussion on this. Any discussion, raise your hand. I know we talked about this during our special session, so I imagine that there isn't any.
Same point of information. Do we have to get kicked out?
No, just don't vote, please. Okay, seeing that there is no discussion, I would entertain a motion to move the previous question. Perfect. We will now move to voting. Joel, open up the voting forms. And with that, we will move to our executive reports, which goes to Ben.
Okay, so lots of things to quick cover. I mean, nothing really too deep. Welcome week in recruiting went really well. We currently have 6 applicants for 7 Senate slots, so that will be something we'll be talking about next week. We also had some very promising conversations with the Student Bar Association, so look for some collaborations with them coming this fall. For those who aren't in the know, the Student Bar Association is the Kent equivalent of SGA. The Constitutional Review Committee should be kicking off sometime soon. Those of you on the committee, look at your emails. I'll be sending emails trying to coordinate our schedules and get us a time to meet next week, hopefully. The office move. We consented to taking over Suite 111 in Herman Hall, which has a substantial increase in office square footage. Mike Gauze has signed off on it. Rachel has signed off on it. T has signed off on it. We are just waiting for a timeline for when that officially will continue and will actually be physically transitioning. The Granger Computing Innovation Competition is something that kicked off today. The website is on the slide. It's a really cool competition looking at innovative approaches to addressing climate change, addressing healthcare disparities, and a bunch of other really nice goals. If you're interested in forming a team to compete for, I believe the top prize is about $15,000. Follow the link, check out the prize. It's a new competition this year. I believe September 20th is when phase 1 concludes, which is proposing whatever your project will be for the prize. So if you're interested in competing for the Granger Prize this year, sign up for that ASAP. And as the last note, our senator from the Stewart School of Business resigned over the summer because we only have one college senator per college at the moment. This means Stewart is without representation. So we will be opening nominations to look for a new Stewart representative tonight. And at the next Senate meeting, we'll vote on whatever nominations we have. So if you know someone from the Stewart School of Business who would like to serve in Senate, let them know to hit me up. We'll get them the link to fill out the nomination form. And then we'll vote next time. Hooray! That's all I've got.
Thank you, Ben. Up next we have OCL. Rachel, you want to take over?
Yeah, hey guys. A couple things. First things first. I just want to make sure that everybody's taking care of themselves. Just because I know a lot of people are getting sick on campus. I know it is so exciting that we have all of these things open, but please make sure. I know that you are all wearing masks and taking precautions, but like you can like not go to one event. That's okay too. Like take a breather, drink some water, have some tea, and feed yourself good meals. So I want just everybody to stay healthy for the rest of the semester. So just, me just being a grandma to all of you. But homecoming is coming up. There's going to be a week long of events. Union Board is working on putting together a Pearlstein premiere, which are no longer going to be in Pearlstein because it's hot in there. But we are going to have movies in Center Court. I think that's going to be on Tuesday of that week. It's going to be a college themed movie, something like Animal House, Van Wilder, or Old School, something like that. So get excited for that. And then there are a bunch of athletic games going on during the week as well. If you know somebody who is really interested in being a Talon, please let them know. I am willing to actually hire them to be Talon, to wear the costume, and hire them to be a Campus Life Ambassador, but the Talon Campus Life Ambassador. So don't like shout it out, because I would love for there to be some allure behind who Talon actually is. Because I don't know if you guys knew who it was for Convocation, who knows? But they would do it at like specific games. They would do it at specific events on campus. We would get a schedule together for them, and it would be like max probably 4 hours a week. And I think that would be like really, really max. I don't want anybody to spend hours in the costume a week, right? But they might go to 4 different events, which I would pay them, 4 hours for. So that is something that I'm looking for, and I would love for somebody, for homecoming. So if you know someone, have them email me. Yes, I put it on Glassdoor. I just haven't gotten any responses yet. 4 hours a week. So it would be more per semester. So it would be lots of hours. It would be max 4 hours per week. So I'm thinking like 20 hours a month. It should be max. It should be small, not a big job. And all you have to do is like show up. If you can do a cartwheel, even better. But don't let your head fall off, because we're building that allure. So that's that. So, but then also for homecoming, we have got inauguration happening on September 17th. Remember, your classes are canceled that day. And we would love for you to come to inauguration if you haven't already signed up. But we are going to have a ceremony called Passing of the Torch, where we are going to actually pass a torch of fire I think I've talked about this before, but freshman to a sophomore, to a junior, to a senior, to a faculty, to a staff, to an alum. And then we're going to light this little fire pit on fire. It's sitting in my office. It's been sitting there for a very long time. Get excited for that. I have already had a bunch of nominations, and then we're going to actually choose faculty and staff have nominated you guys. So maybe some of you will be chosen. So that is an exciting thing to go to. I think it's going to give us all the feels on campus. So look out for that. A little bit more information coming down the pipeline. September 18th, just like how Dean Stett said, it will be the carnival. That's going to be from 3 to 6:45. And then we are going to have the talent show, which if you have not signed up, definitely sign up. That's in the newsletter. You can tell jokes, you can juggle, you can do armpit farts. I really don't care. I would just love a little bit of talent in there. And then September 19th is a pumpkin launch. We have 6 groups already signed up. We've got small, medium, and large trebuchets being built. All of the equipment is being ordered through the Idea Shop. And there's also going to be a big pumpkin bouncy house. We're going to have pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin donuts, pumpkin, oh wait, here, wait, I'll look back on my list. Pumpkin cider and pumpkin pie. So get excited for that. Everything is going to be pumpkin themed. And then we're going to paint pumpkins. We'll have face painting too. And then one of the things that we're adding, and I want you to kind of, put this out there in the ether and the world, let our students know, even if they're not catapulting a pumpkin on campus with a machine that they've created, we are going to have some slingshot pumpkin competitions in between each of the orgs going, or each of the trebuchets going. So there won't be carving because I am not sure about the knives and what that looks like, but there will be painting. So there will be paint and there will be pumpkins to paint. But there will be slingshotting. So if you are interested in slingshotting, let me get you Aman's email. I'm going to drop Aman's email from you being here. Aman is the traditions chair. If you are interested in slingshotting, you and 2 other people, because you're going to fling a pumpkin with the slingshot, 2 people have to hold the sides. 1 person has to pull it back. Send Aman an email, and I will put that in here. And say, hey, I have a team of 3 who's interested in slingshotting. We're going to see if we can get some faculty and staff to go against each other as well to add a little goofiness to this. What else? Oh, and then we're going to have the virtual industry fair, so a little career fair, September 21st from 10 to 4. But just make sure you're paying attention to those newsletters, you guys. A lot of information should be coming down the pipeline. And also, congratulations on having such a successful welcome week. I saw students so happy on campus. And I know a lot of that was due to you guys putting your event together, but also just generally campus being out and about and excited. So let's keep that energy up. I love this new culture that we're building. So happy Wednesday. That's all I've got.
Thank you for that, Rachel. Now, as you guys may have noticed, I added a surprise to the agenda. Oh, this is my last Senate meeting as EVP. I will be stepping down. Thank you guys for having a great first meeting and all the special sessions. I know whoever takes care of Senate will be great. And overall, this won't be the last you'll see me of Senate, but just not as EVP for the rest of this year. With that being said, open floor. Nova.
Thank you. So my name is November. I'm actually a first-year student here, and I would just like to speak quickly on some concerns I have. I come from rural Arkansas, and one thing I've learned during my time in Arkansas is the importance of accessibility and freedom, not only physically, but monetarily. And it's no secret that IIT has one of the steeper prices for higher education institutions in the country. And along with that, an extremely steep price for the meal plans. Almost 10% of the $71,000 price tag is the meal plan. And while I do believe in quality meal accessibility, $7,000 is quite the price, especially for students like myself who come from a poorer area in the country. I believe that we should have the freedom to choose from any meal plan or the choice to choose no meal plan at all. It is a major cost saving point that could help ends meet for many if they are willing to try and save money doing their own meal planning. Further, I believe by allowing students to make this choice themselves, we can effectively add more competition to the, meals over with the school over meal student choice, which may allow the cafeteria to reconsider its price tags in order to meet ends better. So to wrap that up, I would just like to call upon SGA on behalf of the students, not only to those economically disadvantaged, to draft and pass a resolution calling upon the administration of IIT to allow more student choice upon the matters of meal plans for more economic freedom and accessibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing us to our attention. I know a few senators will not hesitate to jump on that, and I will make sure that the next EVP works on that with you and whichever senator works on that. Fran.
Yeah, hi everyone. I just kind of wanted to pose a question to SGA on like if anyone knows any information on like what exactly happened to the student council, or I guess kind of student advisory board that was for the appeals for like ACAPS parking tickets. I know it was a thing the year before COVID. It kind of seemed to have disappeared from both their literature and in the actual like it existing. So I guess I'm curious on, if anyone has any like significant reason on why exactly that might have happened, or if anyone feels like that's something that needs to be kind of looked at and taken care of if it needs to come back. I just noticed its absence on campus, and I kind of just wanted to raise it as like a concern. That's it for me tonight. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for bringing that to our floor. I'll make sure to have Rachel look into that some more. And then lastly, Naeem.
Naeem is working on it.
Sorry.
Sorry, you all. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but for some reason my darn little bar was popping up when my programs were popping up. It's too much. Okay, so hi everyone. How are you all doing today? Hope you're doing well. Okay, I guess I'll start my video. Yeah. Okay. Just as a quick update, RHA is back, everyone. We are back. We are moving. We are shaking. We're doing all sorts of things. But the big thing is that we have been coordinating with ORL, and we are having our first event on September the 13th in the Cunningham basement. It's going to be a social gathering. Everyone should be aware of it probably within the next week. Next week we'll be advertising time, but we're all really excited. We plan on having fun Kahoot, having Jackbox party games, having card games, having Jenga, having a lot of fun stuff at this event, and ideally in the Cunningham basement where we're planning. So definitely stay tuned to your emails and stay tuned to your RAs and so on and so forth. But we're really excited to finally get our HA going back coming back. And for anyone asking about the boat cruise, still figuring that out. I know everyone wants to know. Working on it. I will get back to you all. Okay. Also, Trinity. I'm not sure if Trinity has any updates, but yeah, I think I saw Trinity's update there, but I did want to make the announcement since people have been sending me emails specifically regarding this. So, yeah.
I don't really have any updates. I'm still doing food advisory board meetings, so if anyone wants to join them, you can just reach out to me and I can add you. But yeah, besides that, nothing.
Perfect. Thank you, Naeem and Trinity. And then Lucy.
Yeah, before I ask my question, I just wanted to say, Nova, one thing you might want to consider if you're gonna like pursue what you were talking about is how students in Kasich and Cunningham would eat if they're not on the meal plan, since there's not like any sort of proper kitchen in those buildings. And my question, Kiru, is I know that you're stepping down as vice president, which is sad, but do you know like what the plan is in terms of the meetings being virtual or in person going forward?
As of right now, OCL has asked orgs to have general body meetings. So meetings like Senate, or like if we were to host the SGA general body meetings, to be online. So as of right now, they will continue to be online. That's what I know. And then at the end of this meeting, we will be opening up nomination forms, which I'll talk about then for the next EPP. That way we can hopefully have a smooth transition for the rest of the semester. With that being said, is there anything else that needs to be brought to open floor? Rachel.
So one more thing, and I just want you guys to consider this. I know I've talked to a couple of you about this already, but feedback that I've gotten from commuter students is that these meetings are not very accessible to them because of the time. So when we do end up getting more of our space back after some of the classrooms get turned, or our event spaces get turned back into event spaces and not classrooms, excuse me. I want to talk about maybe also keeping part of the meetings online, even if we meet in person, just having a virtual part of the meetings too. So commuter students who don't have a car to come to campus and do not feel comfortable taking the train, or students who live off campus and would be walking to their home off campus, if they would still be able to stream part of it and call in like this. And that's okay if there are people meeting in person as well. So just think a little bit about that. And it's not only about the streamed part, it's about, you know, being able to actually, you know, be in the meeting and an active participant. And selfishly, I don't want to be on campus at 9 p.m. either, because I like to wear my pajamas during these meetings, if you haven't noticed. Okay, so just a little bit of information for you.
Yeah, I had a contingency plan on that, which will be transitioned to the next EPP. I was planning on having either Ben or Joel run the online section while I run the in-person section at the same time. I'll work with the next EPP on that. Thank you for bringing that up. And with that being said, before we get to nominations, I will read out our fabulous results. So our constitutional committee was approved with 7 yeses, 0 noes, and 1 abstain. Our engineering world health was approved as well. Same with Illinois Tech RoundNet. And lastly, Society Women in Space Exploration was also passed. That one was 15-0. So congrats on everything that passed tonight. You guys are free to leave if you presented. Senators, please stick around because I'm going to explain what's happening next. So we have exec VP nominations. A form will be sent out. Nominate anyone who's in SGA that you think would make a great new EVP. You can nominate previous ones or people who have served in other e-board positions. Basically just nominate people. We will be voting at our next Senate meeting. Yeah, and then with that being said, the responsibilities, sure. Basically you're in charge of running Senate. You run these meetings, you're in contact with OCL about new orgs. You help with getting them set up, you approve, communicate with them after they're approved. basically you're working with OCL a lot and then also working with senators a lot. Also, you can nominate a VP of a committee. You can nominate anyone. Yeah, just nominate people and then it'll be voted at the next meeting, which I will not be chairing. This is my last meeting as EVP. So I believe we will be having Nick, who is Chief Justice, take over for that meeting. And then hopefully after that, we will have a new EVP. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, seeing that there is none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Okay, second. It's been seconded. All those in favor of adjourning this meeting, please unmute yourself and say aye.
Aye.
Aye, Captain.
Aye. All those
Aye.
opposed say nay.
indeed.
The chair is not in doubt. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank